Step 6. Extract maximum value. Extracting value from a business falls under two distinctions. One is going to be based on your relationship with the seller. In other words, the seller can look at the people he or she presently has a relationship with, and that can be selling to people inside or outside the company. So when you're looking at selling inside the company, we'll go into details later, but let's look at a summary of this. You can do things like recapitalization of the company to sell it. You can sell it to partners. You can sell it as an ESOP. We'll get into details here in a second. You can sell it to family members. You can hire a replacement CEO for yourself. You can also go outside the company. You can sell to venture capitalists or private equity firms. You can sell to competitors, private investors. You can even do an initial public offering of your company. You can also do things like give it to charity, like Warren Buffett has done. He's donated about $35 billion worth of market share. Bill Gates has also started foundations to do these things. So you can do giveaways of companies to actually get value yourself and to fulfill your own personal needs and personal desires. Two, based on the type of buyers. So there are two primary types of buyers. There are strategic buyers who are buyers of operating similar businesses and similar industries, and they're planning to integrate your business with their existing operations. They tend to pay higher prices given the opportunities for the synergies in the industry. Just like my buyers in my previous video did with me, that's the type of strategic buyer. You can look at financial buyers. Now, these are private equity investors who are looking for a direct return on investment. They tend to pay less in order to enhance the return on investment. Now, given my experience, I see the message really clearly from the strategic buyer's viewpoint. And so, since I see that more clearly, and the fact that these buyers, typically strategic buyers, pay more for a company than financial buyers, I could have taken action earlier in the growth of my company to groom it even better for a strategic buyer in order to make it large enough for the sale of this size that I eventually closed. I could have done it faster had I groomed the business to be sold to a strategic buyer from the very, very onset of the start of my business, and as I grew it, I certainly could have tailored it to a buyer even better and possibly sold it for even more. Now, not that the business wouldn't have been of interest to a financial buyer, but since I had a relationship with my industry and my clients, and since that's where the largest pool of strategic buyers are coming from is your own industry, it was really easy for me to understand the buyer's needs. I could understand very easily what they saw in my company. I also helped them make the transaction go much smoother because we spoke the same language. I also think that since you're getting involved in this kind of a system that goes from the very basics of marketing all the way through selling your business for 8+ figures, that you should certainly consider all the types of exits and not just focus on the ones that you are familiar with. Personally, I was more comfortable with people that I spoke the same language with in my own industry, but had someone expressed interest in my business that was not a strategic buyer or even one of my competitors, I still would have pursued that type of exit because even though I wasn't familiar with that type of exit strategy, even though I would have been uncomfortable speaking to someone outside of my industry, it was those unfamiliar terms that would have allowed me to sell the company. So even if you're unfamiliar with any of the strategies, what a great opportunity to be able to learn all of them before you have to unlearn any of the ones that you are typically pursuing now, the ones you're most comfortable with. Don't necessarily get into tunnel vision and thinking about there's only one way to exit the company. Give yourself the freedom to explore all of them before you make a decision on how you want to sell your business.